Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and how are you doing today? I'd like to do something a little bit different, if I may. I'd like to talk to you about the films in the Criterion collection by a particular director, and just talk about those films as they appear in the current Criterion collection and see what we can come up with in terms of a general discussion about his works vis-a-vis the Criterion collection. The filmmaker that I have in mind today is this person who's pictured on this book. His name is Akira Kurosawa. Akira Kurosawa is a Japanese filmmaker born in 1910, and he made a great number of films, many of which are quite well regarded even today. He has a very prominent career, especially outside of Japan, probably thanks in large part due to the great impact that his films had around the post-war, or immediate post-war period of Japan. Post-war meaning after the end of World War II. The films, I think, that had the most impact around that period that were directed by Kurosawa would arguably be films like Rashomon, Akira, and Seven Samurai. And this opened the door to a lot of exposure of Kurosawa films and Japanese films in general. Outside of Japan, in the West, for instance, and thus paving the way for Kurosawa and the critical regard that many of his films have, starting from that period and then gradually increasing in reputation and renown until now. He still enjoys a very legendary status as one of the, considered to be one of the great directors of all time, one of the great cinematic artists that has ever graced the landscape of this thing we call cinema. Akira Kurosawa's films are very vast and wide, and I think we are very fortunate today to have many of his films included in the current Criterion collection, and many of which are presented in such stellar presentations, thanks to the high care and quality that we have come to expect from the Criterion collection. So what I'd like to do today is I'd like to go over the films of Akira Kurosawa as they appeared in the Criterion collection. And I won't be going over any of the films in particular detail or depth, so don't worry, I won't be spoiling anything. But I will just be touching on them very briefly, just to give us some room for discussion as to what is included in the Criterion collection. I think for many of you, perhaps, you are already Kurosawa experts, so perhaps this kind of video is not necessarily for you. This is not going to be anything in depth in terms of his career or his filmography or the themes or the kinds of issues that he posed in his particular films. There won't be any kind of analytical discussion of his films in these videos, but this will be straight in terms of what films have appeared or do appear currently in the Criterion collection as of now, April 2019. And from there, perhaps we might have a discussion about the state of Kurosawa films as it stands now and what we might hope to expect from the Criterion collection in the future with respect to Kurosawa films. So with that, my friends, let me now start this journey with respect to the films of Akira Kurosawa as they appear in the Criterion collection.